Hi everyone, and welcome back to Talent Inside Scout. I'm excited today to have a guest, and I'll still say he's a Gen Z, and probably now this one was also born ready. You've heard this story of Generation Z being born ready. This one for sure was born ready. I'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself, but basically our discussion will be within an office setup because he works for a certain company. He will tell us about it, about his work, the nature of work, and he'll probably also tell us about his education, where he went to school, and then we can have a conversation about it. And basically what I want us to look at today is the power of association and something to do with exposure. There are certain things that you will never learn in school and you will never learn them at home. You require exposure. And exposure is a good teacher because you learn things that you never would have. You also meet people you wouldn't have if you weren't exposed or you didn't leave home or your home country. So let's hear about our guest. I would like him to introduce himself and tell us exactly what he's doing. Then we'll carry on with the rest of the discussion.
Okay, hello everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Kiara Victor. I was born in Kenya, raised in Kenya, studied as well here, but did my university in Rwanda. I think a discussion we'll jump into with Polly. Currently, I'm a commodity trader based in Geneva, Switzerland, where my role is more on the hedging execution side. So I work for a coffee trading house, which I've worked for the last probably 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
Okay, now tell us about you the journey in terms of your work.
Okay.
I know a little bit about your journey, but I would like you to tell my viewers how did you land in Kenya,
Yeah.
and how did you also get the job that you are currently doing, and is it also the job that has taken you to Geneva,
Okay.
Switzerland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So my studies, let's start with the university studies. I was about to start university here in Kenya in 2017. However, I got an opportunity to apply to a university in Rwanda called the African Leadership University, and I got a partial scholarship, and I moved to Rwanda, Kigali, in 2017 August. I was supposed to do a degree in actuarial science, which didn't go as it was planned because after getting there, we were not given the license to teach actuarial science. So there was a different path that I was supposed to take. And it was quite a tough decision at the moment to change my degree because I had actuarial science placement in Kenya. But so I had a challenge to explain this to my parents that I wanted to stick in Rwanda. I wanted to see how it goes. And for the first year, we were doing a foundational course. So most of my aunties, of course, told my parents, why is he going there? Why not study in Kenya? Go to University of Nairobi or something, which is way better or something. And I kind of had a conversation with my parents, and they agreed for me to first do 1 year, and then we see what comes after that. So I did a foundational course in the first year with the school, and how the school works is you do I think 2 or 3 semesters, and 2 semesters, and the third semester you are required to do an internship. So for my first internship, I got to be able to work with a very good company where I currently am working as well. And I joined as an intern for 3 to 4 months, which was one of the best, I think, internships I've ever done. Did that, was able to learn quite a lot from the current MD for the company. So I got to do a bit of business analysis, operations, logistics, which was quite nice for me as a young person with zero work experience. And at the end of my internship, I was asked if I wanted to continue with the internship as I went to school. So I told my parents that I've found something that can hold me down over here, so let me do a different course. So I settled on doing international business and trade with the school, a course I did for 2.5 years, I guess. and I continued working as well with the company. It was a coffee trading house, and the journey has been quite impressive, from jumping from one department to another, trying to learn different things across all the departments, understanding the business as a whole. And I think that's where I was able to kind of now understand what kind of career path I wanted. Because in my head, coming to Rwanda, I thought I'll do actuarial science, work in an insurance company, go probably into a bank. So it was quite sitting behind a laptop and just wearing a suit and working. But then, working with this company in Rwanda, I got to be able to meet farmers who were planting coffee, harvesting coffee, and delivering coffee to us. I was able to work with a different set of people, learn a new language as well, so as to blend into the office culture in Kigali. And this was quite an impressive journey for me. And I think, as we've discussed before, you've seen that I have been able to move from to work in logistics operations. I did a good stint of 6 months in finance, so a bit of accounting, being a cashier here and there. I also did a project in building an entire office, which was completely out of scope of my entire career path or what I was studying. And all these kind of taught me all the different bolts, nuts and bolts that kind of help you build a career, understand what you want at the end of it all, as well as helps you become a bit of a leader, how to manage people, how to work with different people. And I worked with this company even after my graduation in 2021. They offered me a full-time job. I became a systems and data manager, which was also a very nice role. And over my time, I've been able to have quite amazing managers who've taught me different skills. They've allowed me to be able to run my own projects, learn from mistakes as well. And this has been quite an impressive journey for me. And as you had asked before, my that job is what allowed me to be able now to go to Geneva, Switzerland, because I became a bit interested in the risk management side of the business, which is coffee futures hedging, which is quite an impressive department to work in. And last year they offered me a position to go and sit in Geneva, Switzerland for 2 years, be able to learn that part of the business, work in a completely different culture, and that's where I've been since then till today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's a good explanation of your journey, part of which I know. And for viewers, I know Victor for a while. I've worked with him, and when you talk about flexibility, I talk about flexibility in this channel a lot. Victor is very flexible. When you hear him say that he has worked in different departments, that is the case. When you ask Victor to do something different, he will be able to do it because he has that exposure. He allows himself to be used in the different departments and also to be trusted. So as I talk about flexibility, you can hear what flexibility has brought about in his career. So we will dwell a little bit on the the career path you took, and that is in letting some of the students that I talk with. When I talk to many people who are looking for jobs, at times they will tell you that they are looking for anything, and I'm an advocate that one needs to know what they want in their career. So if you are advising a younger person, at what point in your career or in your internship did you learn or did you know what you wanted, or did you take a guess?
I will say that it took me quite a bit of time to kind of understand what I really wanted in my journey. Because at first what I was looking for was a job, and as you said, young people now want to look for a job. But then in between them moving from one department to another, that's when I was able to like do something and be like, this is what I want, this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I would want to continue doing from now on. And sometimes it also needs you to research a bit and be able to understand what do you love to do. Because one of the things I'm lucky to have had in my entire journey is not gotten a job that I've hated, not sat somewhere every morning and be like, I don't like this. I've always sat down, felt challenged, love what I'm doing. And I would advise a young person today to kind of sit down first. Don't waste some time. Don't waste 2-3 years of doing something you wouldn't really love to stick at. I would advise them to probably sit down, take some few minutes or a few days or some time to think about what is it that you want in your career. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to go to? If you want to be a manager at a bank or something, you have to start somewhere. You have to start probably as an accountant or but in maybe in a banking industry or something. So I would advise them to first think about what they really want to do or where they want to be at, and then look back at how will the journey look like. What will now take me to that success? If I start something today, however low, how will it take me to where I want to be?
Okay, thanks for that. Then in terms of your education, I want to go back a little. You say you would have done actuarial science locally, but you chose to go to Rwanda and you were convinced that's what you wanted, despite probably some members of the family wondering why you'd be leaving Kenya. Now, I want us to talk about some of the stereotypes. You know, there are certain stereotypes, people thinking that there is a very superior education locally and that you cannot get any other education within East Africa outside of probably the university you mentioned. But what can you tell people about that, the fact that you went out, you probably didn't know the university, but you went and studied, and it has proven that it was a good choice of school or even a career, regardless of the fact that you didn't end up doing what you really wanted there.
Yeah, I think that will be to take a leap of faith sometimes. I would have loved to have studied probably in Kenya, but the journey would have been so different. Probably will not be sitting where I'm sitting today. But then I would say that opportunities are always out there. You can be placed in Kenya, you cannot be placed in Kenya. But I think research comes a long way, depending on what you want to do. If you want to do a bachelor's in science of something, if you search today, you have other very good universities out there, outside Kenya, within East Africa. You have, in the entire of Africa, there's so many universities that you could apply for, get scholarships. Because even for me, initially, as I mentioned, I got a scholarship. And part of the thing that pushed me even to apply for the scholarship was I really wanted to study outside Kenya in a different setting, learn from different people who are not just Kenyans, so be mixed with a different group of people. And one of the things today that I've learned is studying with a group of people from different backgrounds helps you to kind of get a mentality of how the office actually looks like. Because you get to work in groups, you get to see who works, who doesn't work, how do you help those who are a bit lazy, how do you help those who are a bit, or how do you catch up with people who are super fast in whatever they're doing. So I would say take a leap of faith, try and do a research of what you want to do, and try and look for opportunities outside there. There's so many. And then take a leap of faith. I took a leap of faith, deferred my school because I also needed to keep that very safe. I deferred it for a year, deferred it for the second year, and then after that I was okay with not deferring it. Yeah.
Okay, you are happy with
I was happy with what I got. Yeah.
Okay, then the other thing I would like to know, other than now getting a scholarship, I'm sure anybody who is watching, especially people who have done their O-level in Kenya, particularly in Kenya, or anywhere else in East Africa, apart from probably Rwanda, because Rwandese will know about the ALU, African Leadership University. In terms of other costs, you see some people will say, oh, that one probably had money, and that's why he was able to go to Rwanda and school there. Or can you tell somebody who is watching that is probably not interested in taking their education here, exactly what would they need to know in terms of even finances, the cost? How expensive would that be?
My school was so I got a scholarship. I only paid 500 USD per year, and it was quite interesting to move into Rwanda, given that our shilling is a bit stronger than the Rwandan franc. So, and Rwanda is not as expensive, I would say, as Kenya, being a foreigner who've stayed there for a while. I did not come from a rich family that will be able to sort out my living expenses and all these things. So I had to pull funds from different places. So my parents contributed, a couple of uncles and aunties contributed for my living expenses. And that was for maybe at most 6 months. And then I did get my first internship, and then which became a job. But in terms of living expenses, try and do your research, because different places are a bit different. And pool resources, as you said, we're going to talk about power of association and how that comes into play. And for me, one of the biggest, I think, opportunities I had during that time was I had uncles who could understand what I was doing, what I really wanted, how my grades were going to support me to move into a different place and study quite a superior course. And some of them actually came through and contributed for my housing. And my first 3-4 months, I stayed with friends who moved together with me to Rwanda to the same school. So we became friends because we all met through the school, and we lived together. I think I've told you the story. We were sleeping down on a mattress on the floor, and over time this changes, but then at least you get to live a life that you feel is okay. You're learning in a place that you're comfortable with. And I will tell probably someone watching that first do your application, try and get a scholarship, but make sure you also do the research of what is the living expenses, how much is housing, where can you get housing, does the school offer housing? And most of these schools outside that offer you scholarship, some of them have partners who offer you living expenses scholarships. So after my first year, the second batch that came followed after me, we had a scholarship that was funded by MasterCard, and all the expenses were, if you got that scholarship, all your expenses were taken care of. You will get a stipend for your living expenses, for your food and everything. So I would say it's a bit of research. Try and do these. You can also leverage Kenyan companies that offer student scholarships, depending on where they're studying, where they're going. And a couple of some banks do these, and they support students all the way through.
Yeah. Good to know that. And I've talked about doing research. I've noted that some of us are becoming a little lazy. You hear something about a school or scholarships, but you want to be given the entire information. So he's talking about doing a bit of research. So if you want to study elsewhere outside of Kenya, you must be willing to do some research. And you are researching on the costs, on the kind of studies you are likely to get, and what scholarships are available, and how to get even those visas. I have seen different people doing different things in different countries, not even only Rwanda. But you need to do your research so that you know what is expected in terms of the paperwork and also the costs to finance the program, and also probably your living expenses. So before we all echo the fact that, oh, there are no jobs, oh, the studies are becoming difficult even locally, or I will study here and not get a job, he got an internship which turned into a job. So how willing are you to also get internship, do different things even before you know exactly where you are settling, before you even know what you want to become? He did different internships in very different areas. I know a bit of his journey, so I understand where he's coming from. You've been asked to do different things. And some of the Gen Z or younger people I have seen, they'll be given assignments. They will not want to do them because it's not in line with what they studied. But you can see how being flexible has helped him to be where he is. Now, other than talking about the job, how you've come from where you've come, what are your plans?
I think one more thing I would want people to, probably the Gen Zs, not sure, probably it applies to even a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, But one of the things I also had during my early career stages was getting a mentor. Mentorship goes a long way. So I got a mentor who we frequently, not just one, I have a couple of mentors. And they do go a long way in terms of whenever you want to change your career, whenever you want to try something new, whenever you want to renegotiate something with your company or something, they do kind of advise you. And I frequently meet my mentors or have a phone call with them just to tell them where am I at today, what's the progress, what am I looking to do forward in the future. And this goes a long way in terms of they help you structure your career and help you meet your goals, which is really important.
You've talked about a mentor, and I've talked a lot about mentorship on this channel. Tell us about your mentor, and yes, and how did you go about getting your mentor? Did you look for the mentor? Did they look for you? How did you bump into them? Tell us about that.
So, my main mentor, I met him through work. So, the work I'm currently doing, he spotted me, I did not spot him. So, I was lucky in this scenario. But he spotted me, and I think he took it into him to kind of shape me into what I really wanted, because we always discussed what I really wanted to do. But then he could see probably I was lagging behind and all this. He was my manager. So after a while, we sat down. He asked me what I really wanted to do. He asked me, in 5 years, 10 years, where do you want to be? And I told him I wanted a certain COO position. And he was like, okay, for you to get there, you need to work on this and that. And throughout my journey, he's helped me whenever I've had questions about feedback, especially because I really take value in feedback, whether it's criticism. I do take value of that to be able to know what to change, what am I doing good, what am I having priorities that are not supposed to be my priorities. And my mentor has been really good at his job, I would say. He's always on the lookout for me, asking me how I'm doing, if I'm loving what I'm doing, what's the next step that I would want to take after whatever I'm currently doing. And we do have these conversations, and I tell him what I want to do, my plans, and he guides me into knowing whether the plans are good for my career path or whether they're not. He doesn't just spoon feed me and tell me, oh no, don't do that or this. He guides me into me finding that by myself and knowing that, okay, probably I should tweak it a bit here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, thanks for that, and thanks for bringing up the issue of mentorship. I know mentorship has really worked for Victor, because I have met I've met his mentor, and his mentor has also had a very successful career, and as a result, it's not just mentoring him; he's kind of a role model.
Yeah.
In which case, then the mentorship journey for him and Victor has been an easy one, because other than what he tells Victor to do or not to do, Victor is able to watch his steps, what he's doing, because he has also been on an upward trajectory. And he's also younger, so they get to get along. So as you look for your mentor, or as your mentor spots you, like he's spotted him, it is important that you have something in common, so that you are able to sit down and discuss. You are discussing your career, but a mentor like Victor's has been able to mold him all round. It hasn't been only in the career. He's somebody who sees when Victor probably is taking the wrong turn, and you tell him, now, I don't think that is the right turn. I know your mentor very well, and I'm sure he has really shaped the person you have become and the person you are becoming. And my advice for people, when you look for a mentor, look for certain things. Somebody who is really interested in your growth, not only in the career, but in your life in general.
Someone who doesn't sugarcoat the criticism or whatever you are doing. He tells you as it is. That's a good mentor, I think.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much for taking us through your journey in your career. I want you to speak to a young person that probably is graduating or has graduated, and they want to get into the job market, or they have gotten into the job market, and the job they are doing they feel is too low, because they have this degree, and they expected when they got into work that they will get a huge salary, you know, is it 6-figure or some figures that I hear young people quoting. Please advise them and tell them that how the journey is, that you have to start from somewhere, from very low probably, to get to where you want to be.
I will say this, as you said, you have to start quite low. It's not everyone starts at the top, and not everyone starts at the bottom.
Yes.
But I would say that for you to build up the ranks and go, you have to also make sure that you get noticed in the role that you're doing. And what makes you get noticed is working smart and working hard. That will get you noticed. If you're quite be unique, have like if you're pitching a business, have your unique value proposition. What are you bringing to the company? Will the company value you the same way? If they were to like take you into different ranks, will they add value into you because you're adding more value to them as well? So as a young person who's probably applying for a job or trying to get into school, it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is what you do to get to the top. Are you working smart? Are you working hard? Are you getting recognized by the different managers who are above you? Are you doing something different that is shaping the job that you're doing, and they see that value? And I would also say invest in yourself as well. Try and learn different things. Learn Excel, learn Power BI, learn all these soft skills that are needed in different positions. You never know, you might get moved from one department to totally different one that you get to enjoy just because of that one skill that you have. So I would say do a bit of investing in yourself. Try to make yourself unique and work smart and hard. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Viewers, you've heard that. You need to make yourself unique. I call it authentic. Bring your authentic self to the workplace so that people see you're adding value. You've heard me say a lot of times here that if this was your company, would you hire you? So make sure when you're working that you are bringing that value. Remember, when we are hired to fill a certain gap that is in the workplace. So what gap are you filling in that workplace? What have you brought on the table that is unique, like he said? Are you getting noticed for doing or for even going an extra mile? I know Victor has tried quite a lot. He would go an extra mile. He has been going an extra mile whenever possible. Whenever he has been requested to do certain things, he will try and do them. He will try and learn those new skills to be able to deliver on some of the assignments that he has been given. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this video. If you're new here, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel so you are notified anytime we post content such as this. Thank you.